All right, we're going to get started now. So here we go. Today, we are going to talk about how to build your plan for you compared to picking up tips, tricks, different things going on at the gym, seeing what your trainers are doing. Talking to your friends who knows if they have the same goals as you. What I always hear from people is so and so is trying this, so and so is doing this. Should I do that? And I said, well, it depends. And that's not the answer that everybody's looking to hear. So, for instance, I was talking to somebody about intermittent fasting, and they asked me, should I intermittent fast? Is it healthy for me? And I said, well, it's another stress on your body. So if you're not stressed, if you really have a good relationship with exercise, if you really have a good relationship with intensity, endurance, and all that good stuff, if you have a really good relationship with calories and food, then yeah, intermittent fasting could be a very awesome protocol for living forever and longevity. But if you're stressed, if you're under recovering, if you work your ass off all the time, intermittent fasting might be keeping you from your results. So that's just some food for thought. So here are my 4 best steps for you guys to get the results and build the plan that's best for you. Okay. So number 1 is to take inventory. I want you to find out how many steps you take in a day. I want you to find out how many hours that you sleep at night. What's your quality of sleep? How many calories are you taking in? How many times you get fast food throughout the week? How many times are you preparing your own meals? How many hours of TV are you watching? How many hours on social media are you watching? All of these things kind of play up, like how hydrated you are, how many grams of caffeine do you eat in a day. So just take inventory and just be as honest with yourself, because you're not really doing this for anybody else. You're just doing it for yourself. So I always recommend getting a good inventory list. I'm going to make a list and have that for you guys available tomorrow if you want that sheet, and you can kind of see where you're at. But number 1, take inventory, activity, hydration, sleep, exercise. What's your plan is how much do you want to exercise? How much do you exercise? All those things. And then step 2, well, everybody kind of knows what's good and bad. So step 2 would be to fill the gaps. So if you are, say, consuming a high amount of caffeine and you don't feel good from that, or you need that energy, well, chances are you're probably not sleeping good at night, because caffeine has a 6-hour half-life. So if you consume 100 grams of caffeine at 6 a.m., 6 hours later at noon, you have 50 grams. Okay, 6 p.m. at night, you have 25 milligrams. So as every 6 hours, half of it kind of disappears, or it gets absorbed, or is not in your system anymore. So if you have 300, 400, and then you drink some caffeine at night and you're wondering why you're not sleeping, and then you're taking a bunch of melatonin, well, that could be why. So when I'm saying fill in the gaps, find out where you're struggling, and then find out anything that might be inhibiting that or altering that. If you're unable to recover from your workouts, well, maybe your workouts are too intense. Maybe you're not doing the proper mobility and recovery before and after. Maybe you need to add a restorative yoga session or just a mobility session. Maybe you need to look at your programming. Maybe you need to look at your protein intake, your carbohydrate intake. There's a million different things, but pretty much if you keep it really simple, man, I just realized that I'm watching, 5 hours of TV every night. Cool. But what if you cut it down to 2 and did something productive? Like went for a walk. Well, now you just found time and you're doing something that's healthy for you. Wow. I didn't realize I eat out 6 meals a week. Every day I eat something out. I'm not preparing it. So the second someone else is making that food, I'm not the one in control anymore. So, you cut that down to 3. Now you have 1,800 extra calories in a week, because you're 1,800 calories total you're losing just from not eating that extra meal going out. So step number 2 is to fill those gaps. Step number 3 is to make actionable items of what you can actually achieve and what you can actually do to plan out and build these into habits. So if I go, hey, you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink 100 ounces of water a day, plus an extra 8 ounces for every hour of exercise. Cool. What if you're only drinking 8 ounces at a time, or 8 ounces right now, or, maybe a glass every once in a while? You didn't retract water. If I tell you that, you might actually drown. You might be overwhelmed and extremely peeing all the time. So, well, if you drank 20 ounces, is that more than you were? Awesome. Let's start there. Let's add another 10. Let's add another 10. Let's get your goal knowing that it should be 100 ounces, but let's meet you here where you're at. I think that is one of the best ways to kind of build up that program. If you want to exercise and you saw so-and-so does 6 days a week, so you need to do 6 days a week. Well, if this whole year you've only worked out twice, if you work out once a week and you have a plan that you can actually get to the gym once a week, Well, that's 52 more workouts this year than you had last year. You know, if you do twice a week, awesome. That's 104 more workouts than you did last year if you didn't work out at all. You know, if you that's something that you want to do and build it in, maybe it doesn't have to be at a gym. Go for a walk, do a push up on a couch, sit down to the toilet seat and stand up, do that 20 times. It's a workout. Again, meet yourself where you're at, but make a plan on how you can actually accomplish these goals, because I think that's probably the most important is nobody has a plan. They get overwhelmed, they try to do everything all at once, and then they fail because it's challenging, and then they never get back on. You know, if you're part of the challenge, you talked about the imperfect action, and that's one of the biggest takeaways that I got is that people said, I failed and I didn't quit, which is awesome. So, you know, you're always taking those steps in the right direction. Step number 4 is once you have the plan in place, track it and record how you feel with it. So I want you to actually track like, oh, do I feel energized? Do I feel tired? Do I feel lethargic? Am I, you know, what's my libido like? What's my digestion like? Do I have cravings all the time? Am I hungry all the time? Am I never hungry? Both those are signs, and both those relay with your hormones. So if you're tracking how you feel and you start this program and you just track like, man, I have no energy. I need a nap every day. I'm tired. My eyes are tired. Like once my head hits the pillow, I pass out. I, you know, wake up and I'm tired in the morning. I don't want to get out of bed. Well, if you start drinking more water, maybe that improves it a little bit. You know, maybe I feel like a little less tired. Or, you know, maybe like I used to have cravings all the time. Like I always wanted to just splurge on anything because I was so restrictive or whatever. Or maybe you felt like you were never hungry. Well, if you were never hungry, it might be because you kind of told your system to shut up. You're like, you've had the ghrelin response over and over, and you're like, I'm not going to eat because I'm going to restrict. This is my intermittent fasting. I don't eat now. Well, now it's noon. Now you're starving, and now your lizard brain kicks on. If you've talked to me about the lizard brain before, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But track how you feel. How are your cravings? How's your energy? What's your libido like? Your sex drive? Do you ever want to have sex? If not, you probably should get that checked out, or not checked out, but just, you know, have a conversation with someone about things to get your sex drive back up. Because that is important. If you are having a good sex drive, that does mean that you are in a healthy place to lose fat or build muscle or actually succeed with your goals. So that's one thing. That's it. It's just 4 steps, you know. So my big goal is to figure out where you're at, identify the issues, fill the gaps, and then record how you feel when you do fill those gaps and see how you feel. In the theory, people are like, hey, Ryan, how do you stay so motivated to eat right? Well, have you ever had amazing meals throughout the week where you felt on top of the world and felt all the energy in the world? That's motivation. And then have you ever gone out to a buffet and felt like shit for the next few days? That's motivation, and not do that again. So that's as simple as I try to keep it. But if you build that really good relationship with how you feel and what you're feeding yourself, I think that's all you need to do. You know, I want to keep it as simple as possible. So I did make a PDF file. They'll be available tomorrow. If you guys are interested in having that, it's the 4 steps. It breaks it down and it gives you an actual thing. Good night, buddy. All right. If you guys need anything, like now's the time for a little Q&A. So I can't see who's watching this right now or who's in here, but if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. Or if you need any personal coaching, let me know. I see I got 5 of you out there. So if there is anything,